Day 8 for the spoilers of Strixhaven. Finally, Strixhaven is getting some strong cards. In the beginning, I thought that the set would be weak because of the added Mystical Archive cards, but the last day we had very strong rare and mythic cards. Let's start. Promising Dust Mage, 2 and 1 black, it's a 2/3. When it dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, draw a card. Hand 4 Specimens, 1 and 1 black, it's a sorcery, create 1/1 black and green pest creature token with when this creature dies you gain 1 life, and you have also Learn. If you don't know how to play Learn, I did a tutorial explaining how this particular mechanic works. Pillardrop Warden, 3 and 1 red, it's a 1/5, it has reach for 2 and tap, sacrifice it, return target instant sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, activate only as a sorcery. Big play, 1 and 1 green, it's an instant, target creature get +2/+2 until end of turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Professor of Zomancy, 3 and 1 green, it's a 4/3, enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with when this creature dies you gain 1 life. Biosnagger for 1 and 1 green, it's a 5/4, as an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature or pay another 3. Accelerating Elocution, 2 1 white and 1 black, it's a sorry, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature control, other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Moldering Karok, 2 1 green and 1 black, it's a 3/3, trample and lifelink. Silver Quill Pledge Mage, 1 and 2 hybrid mana with black and white, it's a 3/1, it has Magecraft. If you don't know how to play Magecraft, I did also a tutorial explaining how this mechanic works. It gains a choice of flying or lifelink until end of turn. Symmetry Sage for 1 blue, it's a 0/2, it has flying, Magecraft, target creature you control has base power 2 until end of turn. Open to the Forbidden for 1 and 1 black, it's an instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. If you do, copy the spell for each creature sacrificed this way. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Devouring Tentacles for 1 and 1 green, it's a sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. When that permanent you don't control dies, you gain 2 life. Overgrown Arch for 1 and 1 green, it's a 0/4, Defender, tap, you gain 1 life. 2, sacrifice it and you learn. Containment Bridge for 2 and 1 green, it's a sorcery, it's a lesson. Remember, you can tutor these lesson cards using the Learn mechanic. Destroy target artifact or enchantment if its mana value is 2 or less. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. When it dies, you gain 1 life. Killian Ink Duelist for 1 white and 1 black, it's a 2/2, lifelink, menace. Spells you cast that target a creature cost 2 less to cast. Humiliate for 1 black and 1 white, target opponent reveals their hand, you choose an online card from it, that player discard that card, you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. Bloed Researcher for 1 green and 1 black, it's a 2/2, it has menace, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Demagoth Anguish Eater for 1 black, 1 green and 1 hybrid mana between red and green, it's a 7/6, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. When you sacrifice it, each opponent discard a card and you may draw a card and you gain 2 life. Shadowing Laureate for 1 white and 1 black and 1 hybrid mana between white and black, it's a 2/2, flying. Whenever another creature you control with flying dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Deadly Brew for 1 black and 1 green, it's a sorcery. Each player sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker. If you sacrifice a permanent this way, you may return another permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Rare cards, Retriever Phoenix, 3 and 1 red, it's a 2/2, flying, haste. When enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you learn. As long as it's in your graveyard, if you learn, you may instead return it to the battlefield. Gnarled Professor, 2 and 2 green, it's a 5/4, trample, enters the battlefield, learn. Selfless Glyph Weaver for 2 and 1 white, it's a 2/3, human cleric, exile, creatures control gain indestructible until end of turn. This is one of those modal double face rare cards, so you can choose to play Selfless Glyph Weaver or you can choose to play Deadly Vanity for 5 and 3 black, it's a sorcery, choose a creature or planeswalker, then destroy all other creatures and planeswalkers. Pestilent Cauldron, 2 and 1 black, it's an artifact, tap, discard a card, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. 1. Tap, each opponent mills X cards, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. 4. Tap, exile 4 cards from your graveyard, draw a card. This is another modal double face rare card, so you can choose to play Pestilent Cauldron or you can choose to play Restorative Boon. 3 and 2 green, it's a sorcery, return up to 2 target creature, land, and or planeswalker cards from your graveyard to your hand. Each player gains 4 life, exile it. Vanishing Verse, 1 white and 1 black, it's an instant exile target mono-colored permanent. Tempted by the Auric, 1 and 3 blue, it's a sorcery. For each opponent, gain control of up to 1 target creature or planeswalker the players controls with mana value 3 or less. Oria Mythnage's 2 and 2 black, it's a 3/3. Tap, search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. If it's an instant or sorcery card, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Colossus Blood Mage 2 and 1 black, it's a 2/1. Enter the battlefield, you choose 1. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Exile target player's graveyard. Poet's Quail 1 and 1 black, artifact equipment. Enters the battlefield, you learn. Equip creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. Equip 1 and 1 black. Demigod Titan 4 hybrid mana, green and black, it's an 11/10. It's a demon. Whenever attacks or blocks, sacrifice a creature. The Biblioplex land, tap for 1 colorless, 2 tap, look at the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcery, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you didn't put that card in your hand, you may put it in your graveyard. Activate this ability only if you have 0 or 7 cards in your hand. Mythic card, Blood Out the Sky, X 1 white and 1 black, it's a sorcery. Create X, tap 2 1 white and black inkling creature tokens with flying. If X is 6 or more, destroy all non-creature, non-land permanent. Marinda Student Advocate 2 and 1 white, it's a 2/3 flying. For 0, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If the spell doesn't target creature you control, it costs 8 more to cast it this way. If the spell is put into graveyard, exile it. Activate only once each turn. I think for a 2/3 flying, this is a very good card. And then there's that 0 and you can cast any target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard without paying any mana cost if it's target a creature you control. The only negative thing is that activate only once each turn, which slows it a lot. Carness Infinity 1 3 black and 3 green. It's an instant, exchange your hand and graveyard, exile it. This is an insane spell. For 7 drop, yes, it's a 7 drop. It's quite difficult to pull, but let's say Strixhaven is more targeting commander than standard or any other format. For 7 drop, you exchange your hand. Maybe you don't have any cards in hand, or maybe you have only 1 card or a land in hand. You can exchange that hand with any cards you have in your graveyard. Insane. Black's Vexing Pest 2 and 1 green, it's a 3/2. Legendary creature pest. Other pests, bats, insects, snakes, and spiders you control get +1/+1. When it dies, you gain 4 life. This is one of those modal double-faced mythic cards, so you can choose to play blacks or you can choose to play search for blacks. 2 and 2 black, it's a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put any number of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You lose 3 life for each card you put into your hand. It's an interesting spell. Unfortunately, those 3 life that you lose, they are quite harsh. For 5 cards, you can lose 15 life. Yahtzee Oracle of Archivius 6 and 2 blue, it's a 5/5. Legendary creature human wizard. Discard the card, return it to its owner's hand. Magecraft, which means that whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it by paying 1 rather than paying its mana cost. If it's a land card, put it on the battlefield. Also a modal double-face mythic card, so you can choose to play Yahtzee or you can choose to play Journey to the Oracle. 2 and 2 green sorcery. You may put any number of land cards from your hand on the battlefield. Then if you control 8 or more lands, you may discard a card. If you do, return it to its owner's hand. Finally, the last dragon revealed, Beledros Witherbloom 5 1 black and 1 green, it's a 4/4. It has flying. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 black green pest creature token with when this creature dies you gain 1 life. Pay 10 life, untap all lands you control, activate only once each turn. Let me end this video with the spoiler of the last Planeswalker, Lukka. We knew that there was another Planeswalker in Strixhaven, apart Kasmina, Liliana, Will and Rowan. Mila, Crafty Companion. Yes, you're right, this is a modal double-face card. So on one side we have Mila, Crafty Companion of Lukka. For 1 and 2 white, it's a 2/3. Whenever an opponent attacks 1 or more Planeswalkers you control, put a loyalty counter on each Planeswalker you control. Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. On one side we have Mila, on the other side we have Lukka, Wayward Bonder. 4 and 2 red, it's a 5 loyalty Planeswalker. +1, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. If a creature card was discarded this way, draw 2 cards instead. -2. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile it at the beginning of your next upkeep. -7. You gain an emblem with whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Join me again for more spoilers of Strixhaven, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.